the middle of that. Welcome welcome to the Temple of Truth. Tonight, brethren, after reading the caption of the broadcast, please read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayegun today, Mayegun is live. Again, in the last few days, we have been seeing series of reactions since the announcement of this coalition and ADC as their party, from the supporters of the ambitious candidates, right? Their reactions. The reactions of the ruling government or ruling party APC, Ebekebe, and their appointees. But the recent one is a guy who was once, right, in the camp of the obedient. When I say once, that should be the second time. It was once in this APC, Ebekebe Ken Okonkwo, the actor. Very brilliant, you know, somebody who made a living, right? He make a living from acting roles, and therefore, when he acts the role of a spokesperson of either party or an individual, or just name it, is always like he's delivering a script as an actor. He's so good. You have to give that to him. Then he parted way with APC, Egbekegbe. That was the time he was kind of like praising Bokwari. His reason for leaving APC, Egbekegbe, according to himself, was because at the time he knew that Tinubu was going to be their candidate, or would be their candidate, and at the same time, they were going to go the route of this Muslim stuff. So that was his excuse. That's the reason why he left APC. Then he joined the Obedient in 2022. He was very vocal. I mean, it was easier for him to be noticed as a very popular actor himself. However, he became so very prominent that somehow, I want to believe, right, his expectation of the movement and the movement's leadership at the time was that they should take over Labour Party. But unfortunately, right, Abure and gang became a very, very big problem that got him to leave them. He left Labour Party, left the Obedient group, and he became a freelancer, like a free agent. You get that? Ken Okonkwo, after the election, this was after the election, his disappointment started from what he called, the will to give madness for madness. Anyone who wants to face APC, Egbekegbe must be ready. Because according to him, Obi won that 2023 elections, right? But he was denied his victory. And yet, Obi couldn't fight them because he didn't have what it takes to fight them, and he won't be queuing behind such leader. I am just quoting him. That's what he said. Then the coalition talk started. Meanwhile, before the coalition talk, it was one of the proponents who proposed then that except opposition came together, there's no way they could take Tinubu out. Then, a few days ago or a week ago, this opposition came together. And they announced ADC. Then the conversation now shifted to how are they going to resolve the ambitions of these men, Atiku, Amechi, Obi, Punel Rufaya, and some others that they are yet to know their intention. Now, people who have been curious about how they are going to handle that. So many people have told them that it is kind of too early, to want to begin to predict what, people don't have the full details, sort of. Anyway, in that same breath, Okonkwo hit the studio again on Channels Television with Seun Okinbaloye yesterday. He came straight, like, you know what? Remember, he said Peter B is too soft for the kind of craze that APC, Egbekebe, kind of like possess. And because of that, anyone who doesn't have the kind of, the sort of like madness, violence for violence, that person shouldn't lead anybody to any election in 2027. Then he came back, this was yesterday, and I said, his own strategy for the 2027 is coming from the failure of 2019. According to him, Tinubu is a southerner, right? If you want Tinubu removed in 2027, you would have to get somebody from the north. It didn't stop there. He went further to say, in fact, it must be somebody who has this presidency experience, and it must be from the north. That the whole north, accepts him. That description fits Atiku very well, and this has caused a big concern or concerns among his former, allies, the obedient. Not that they are sort of like, surprised, because a lot of them, these days, right? A lot of these young people who got interested in their politics in 2023, the obedient and all that, most of them have never been interested in politics. It was their first time. And that experience, right, lives with a lot of them till today. It was an experience where they got to realize that the older generation are so hypocrites and, unreliable when it comes to, what they pretend to preach, like morality, justice, equity, all those stuff. That when it comes to their political interest, they don't give a damn, even if their interest will sink the country, so to say. So they've learned. A lot of them said, many people, many big personalities that they used to respect so much, revered so well, that it was that 2023 elections that kind of exposed them. And this time around, they just can't trust anyone that much. I mean, if you start moving mad, they will quickly cancel you and say, well, no, he's not reliable. And that's exactly how some of them feels about Okonkwo. Like, no, he's been moving mad all this while. While others feels like, well, maybe they read him wrong. For instance, when he kept going on different TV stations, talking about the Abure, the corruption of Abure, this, that, right? So it was like, okay, because Peter Obi was not acting as a leader in his own kind of like way. But this is sort of like shown where he wants to be, while others are saying, well, logically. Others are saying, no, it's not logically. I'll leave it to you. This particular part of the charts, right? Let's listen to this one.
It is a very easy thing if people will yield to strategy and not sentiment. Give Bola Tinubu his own style, his own strategy, and he's back to Bodilon. What did Bola Tinubu do in 2015? He went to the north, picked a man that he knows that all the northerners are in support. As at that time, Bola Tinubu wanted to be president because he said it's his lifetime ambition. But he knew that if he, as a southerner, tries to take out an incumbent southerner, he will fail, because nobody has succeeded from the same section of the president, incumbent, to take out an incumbent president. He went to the north and brought a man that he knew that all the northerners are supporting. And when he brought him, any combination from the south took out Jonathan, and he bided his own time, and he came in later to become the president. That is strategy. If my own strategy this time around is that I am going to support a northerner in 2027.
Really?
Yes. And it must be my condition to the northerners. It must be a northerner that the whole north will be willing to support.
Like an Atiku.
If the whole north is willing to support an Atiku, why not?
Or
so that
or a Tambuwal.
If the whole North is willing to support, why not?
Or an Erufai.
Good. The person must be qualified, must have experience, and if he has experience in the presidency, it's an added advantage. And when we put up anything from the South, that will push him through. Let me tell you.
But would that be fair? Would that be fair that there was an 8 years of Buhari,
Good.
a 4 years, if the case is the way you have put it, of Bola Tinubu, and then now the South has not had a share of 8 years in the rotation understanding of Nigeria, politically speaking? Would that be a fair game?
Good. Thank you for this question. And let me use this opportunity to clarify. The term of the president is 4 years, not 8 years. According to Alex Ekweme, what they agreed initially is that this post will be rotated amongst the geopolitical zones for 4-year term. And it will, in 24 years, it will have completed. But when Obasanjo came in, that was why Ekweme contested for 2003 election. That was when he said it. When Obasanjo came in, he took 8 years. But what happened? When Yaradua came in, before he finished one term, he died in office. Did they not insist that he must finish his 8 years? The answer is no. You know why? It is one term for the president, and the 8 years is for the incumbent. If the incumbent is doing well, if there is a supervening event that stops an incumbent halfway, the other half is there for every Nigerian to contest. And if it goes to the other side will now spend 4 years. That was what happened between Yaradua and Goodluck Jonathan. Yaradua spent 4 years. Just take it 4 years. Of course, you know he died before the 3rd year. And then it was a supervening event that did not allow the incumbent to finish the 8 years. What happened? Goodluck Jonathan came. The North said, please, let us finish our 8 years. They said, no, it's a joint ticket. Something has happened. And this is the vice president. Treat it as a joint ticket. Let them divide the position now into half. 4 years for the North, 4 years to the South. And after, it will come back to the North to finish its 8 years. And that was what happened. Even when Jonathan wanted to now continue to do 8 years, the North said no. That will now be injustice. And they fought, and they took it back to the North. And the North finished 8 years. Now it is back to the South. And Tinubu has become incurably bad. And now you want to terminate his incumbency. Anybody telling you that it's injustice, if the North comes in, if the South comes in, and whoever wins in a primary election will take it for 4 years. Where is the injustice? It has happened before. So, and anybody telling you to bring a fresh Southerner to compete against Tinubu, a Southerner, is trying to tell you to zone the ticket to Tinubu, and Tinubu will win outrightly.
So you are saying that invariably that Tinubu's possibility of becoming or being re-elected in 2027
yes,
is incumbent on the opposition fielding the same candidate from the same zone. But that if the opposition wants to beat Tinubu and the APC,
yes,
the candidate must come from the opposite zone.
Absolutely. And I'll give you the reason. In 2019, the opposition wanted to use Atiku with Obi to beat an incumbent Northerner who had just done 4 years. Did they succeed? No, they failed. And what happened? Tinubu, strategically, in 2015, he used a Northerner to remove an incumbent Southerner. Did he succeed? Yes. Because that is
he conceding to the fact that the North has a more political weight in the power game?
No. Let's look at it this way. Somebody from your zone, if you listen to Olufalaye said his election was rigged. But immediately the people rigged him out. They prevailed on him that he is a fellow Yoruba person that he contested with. Why not let him leave it? We have not had a good electoral system. This election is going to be written, like I've always told you, in 2027. They have already prepared it. Have they done electoral? Yes. Have they done?
Do you have evidence to that?
No. I told you 2023 there was technical glitch, and they have not given us the excuse till today. Technical glitch, by my own definition, is the process of suspending an election so that you can write it instead of transmitting it. And there is no assurance
what
that you will not have in 2027.
If you say
so
that
if they write
the
the 2027 and is a fellow Southerner that you're competing with, they will prevail on you. Please leave him. He's your fellow Southerner. And then that is how they will steal the election. So if you bring somebody from the Southeast, even if you win, they will steal it from him. Let me tell you the strategy that will make the Southeast man to be president. Do you know the Southwest has never contested election against an incumbent? Strategy. Because they know in Nigeria, if you don't have the establishment supporting you, even if you win, they will steal it from you. Olufaleye say it was stolen from him. If you ask me, I will say we won the election in 2023. It was stolen from us because we didn't have.
Peter Obi won the election.
That's my belief. In 2023, I believe it. But they stole it from us.
Let me ask
you.
And
if you do it again, they will steal it again from you because there is no incumbent to back you. But if you bring somebody from the north, nobody will prevail on him to leave his victory quickly because yes, because he's not from the same side with you.
I bet some of you possibly agrees with him. Let me break it down just to make it easier for logical reasoning. Okay, his argument is plausible. Like I said, he's an actor, so he doesn't just talk. Most of what he says to some people, they are not practical. But now let's take a look at what he said in that clip. It is to further tell you that it is not the people that elect their leaders. If not, right, this issue of South, North, removing what competence and what have you, competence, credibility, credibility and the rest of that, removing all of that to say, you know what, if the North sees that a Southerner is there and you want to remove a Southerner, use a Northerner, because the message is just going to be like, they can take the power. You know, that kind of arrangement means it is not by election. You don't go to voters and say, I am a Northerner, I am a Mayegun general, I am this, and I am a Southerner. And everybody will just clap and say, hey, Southerner, kind of, no. But that is how they run their things in that contraption. The interested parties will play different cards. They will play the cards of tribes, the ethnic parts, the religious one, the class, and so many other unseen cards to determine us. That is why we arrived at this, in order to give you the worst. Because it is only that arrangement that can produce that worst that can get them power. They want power. You want governance. So all they have to do is what? To lie to you. That they will give you good governance, but they can't give you good governance if they don't have power. Remember, the process that produced the person that is coming to come and give you good governance is already flawed. The worst is being presented and pushed. The interest of all these unseen and seen and unseen rogues, right? Their influence or their interest will be the paramount, not yours, unfortunately. But in a working system like what you have today in Nigeria, and that is reading the mood of everyone and all that, you can say to some extent, right? Plus what happened in their last charade, Peter Obi is on the lips of almost majority. But majority who are also kind of shouting his name, there are those among them that will say, but they don't see him do it. Why? If it's about people getting their voters card, ballot paper, and vote for whoever they want in a normal democracy as it should be, right? That shouldn't be a problem, right? It simply means it is a popularity contest. Everybody says they want to do this for you or do that for you, right? Which of them do you think their manifesto sits well with you? Which of them do you really trust? It is a clean, credible system that can separate your vote, like that can actually like sort your vote and say, those of you who feels like this person is fit, you are 20 million. Those of you who feels like this person is fit, you are just 15 million. Those of you who supported, you that received 20 million, you'll be the guy. You know, like bridging, or should I say, like jumping the entire cesspool of sharks, crocodiles and all that, you know, field swamp So whether you like it or not, the way Nigeria is, it is always the criminals that will always win. So what Ken is now saying there is that, listen, if you want to say you want to stop Tinubu, then you must have a scheme that will take power away from him. So do you take that power first? Because some of them are telling, some are telling